What is up, everybody? This is Shane with Ripped Inflatables, coming to you from outside of my shop today because the weather is nice. It's not hot, it's not cold. It's going to be a little loud, so I'm going to have to speak up to y'all. And I got the phone close, so forgive me if you look at my nose a little bit. But this is PVC is a Mystery Round 2. And I have the opportunity to film this video because I was given some boats from an outfitter who... and I can talk plainly about this because this person doesn't sell his rafts, but he created his own brand name and he's used 5 different factories. This is come into play later. But he's used 5 different factories to make his PVC boats. And this is where I will come across and say, what is a brand? When back in the 80s, people loved Avons. They were made at the Avon factory. People love NRSs. They were made at the NRS factory. There are several factories that make PVC boats, and they make them for a bunch of people. And if you wanted your own brand name, you can have it. You just need, I don't know, $50,000, $100,000, the ability to cover tariffs and a plane ticket to China, and you can come back and wait on your shipment. I don't even think you need a plane ticket. You could just pick up Facebook. So, let me give you the raw, grisly details of what's going on. That boat, that whole stack, and this boat. That one looks a little funny, and I did that on purpose. I'm able to do this for you because I was given these boats, and sometimes for your own edification, you have to destroy things, and I can't destroy a perfectly good boat. Not especially when I know what the problem is with these. I've already worked on these in the past, and I had to come up with some creative and I had to think on my feet a little bit. But whenever you buy a PVC product, and I'm not trying to call anybody out in particular, because I've seen glue failure, but I haven't seen weld failure. And that's where this video is going to come into play today. We're going to talk about the PVC welding process a little bit, and I'm going to show you the grim reality of buying a product from China and trusting their quality control, because these boats lasted long enough to escape their warranty, and then all of a sudden they started having seam failures. If you watch the other video, you'll understand that seam failures can be catastrophic. They're just complex. When you weld things together, it gets even worse. So, these things suffered from seam failure, and this boat was dead. So I'm going to take the bulkheads, toss them, grab the thwarts, toss them, give the top of the floor a flip. That's what a floor looks like when you take one apart, an I-beam floor. This is an I-beam. It connects the top panel and the bottom panel with those strips. And there were failures on those too. It wasn't just seam failures, but there were failures on the I-beams. And sometimes I had to cut the I-beam in order to access the seam to stick it back down. So why did these boats fail, and why am I going to be ripping on this whole manufacturer thing and quality control? These boats were the beginning of welding. Welded boats didn't exist before these, really. So I'm going to give my hats off to them. They tried something new. They figured it out, hopefully, what went wrong. But we got these I-beams, and they connect the top and the bottom. And we can see where the weld happened. And here, it's like almost out to the edge. But here, it's not really that great. It can be difficult to get the inside welded properly. I'll understand that. But the side that you can see as you're assembling these I-beams, and I'm going to assume that these were pressed on. These weren't like hand rolled with a hot air wand. These are probably RF welded, they would call it, where they send a whole bunch of electricity through some metal plates, and it welds it on with heat through the metal plates and electricity somehow. I don't know. I'm not the scientist. I've seen it happen though, live in person. So we're going to throw this top panel out of the way. And we're going to tumble the tube open. So this is the inside of a tube. Normally there would be a bulkhead right here. Those are the light gray things that I showed you. They're half circles glued together, affixed to each other. Maybe not glued, maybe they're welded. But you have 1.5 inches. And look at the line. It's nowhere near consistent. Again, this was the beginning of welding, so hopefully the process has gotten better and more consistent, and they're able to cover it. But in places where those hinge tapes had failed in the floor and caused the floors to blow out, 1/4 inch, maybe less, is all that was welded in there. And that's something that the manufacturer will not be able to see. When they bring that boat in, it comes wrapped in a bag, stuffed in a box, stuffed in another box, and ready to sell. They really don't do shit in the States. And maybe I'm wrong. Bobby, Star, show your process. Show how they come in off of the boats. Off of the boat, the big boat. Not the raft, the big boat. If they come in raw and you package them up in-house, show it. But I'm pretty sure they come in double box so that they can take the Chinese box off and it's a American ready to sell packaged unit. Maybe they don't even do that. Maybe they just write in both on both. It's just a printer. I mean, they plug the file in and it does it for them. So, anyways, these boats suffered from everything. But I might be able to salvage something. The reason I cut this thing open is I may have some firewood tarps for sale. Look at that thing. That'll cover a full cord. And that's the little boat. I got that one to make into a tarp too. But I have to like glue all the holes up that are the self-bailing floor, and I did cut the floor in a couple places trying to get the I-beams off, but stuff happens. Again, I can make this video for you because the boat was free. If someone has a dead something or other besides a planetary raft, a Saturn, a Neptune, those things are junk. We all know what those things are. But if you got one of the higher quality ones, like the Rocky Mountain, and it's dead, it's beat up, you pinned it overnight, it ripped its tubes off, whatever, I'll be more than happy to make you a firewood tarp out of it. You can do it yourself. Oh yeah, let's get into this boat over here. I put my hand in my pocket. I found my razor blade. So, glue failure, glue failure, glue failure. And right here, that is a hinge tape failure. And since the floor is coming out, and this is a dead boat, I'm gonna put you down for a second. I'm gonna get into it and show you what it looks like. Oh. All right, sorry that took a second, but doctors can get into humans faster than I can get into rafts, and I didn't do a good job, so good thing I didn't go to doctor school. But this is the inside. I'm just now seeing this for the first time. We can see right here where the weld was, because it delaminated the fabric. And it delaminated the fabric, and it delaminated the fabric, and it delaminated the fabric. But you look right here, and that's not even been melted. I hope that came out in the video. I'll have to find out later. But literally, the weld didn't go to the hinge tape. It relied on the outside weld. Just the panels coming together to keep the pressure in. And it worked. Long enough to escape warranty. Why do I say that? I used to be a mechanic at a dealership. Yeah, I know a little bit about warranties and warranty work. But I can't even make a couch out of this boat. But I'm going to make a firewood tarp. And if anybody needs a firewood tarp, $250. It's going to be a lifetime tarp. I know it's not cheap, but the stuff was put together right for the most part. I just need to plug some holes to keep it from leaking through. So I'll plug all the holes. If I cut through the bottom, I'll put a patch on it. But you'll get inside of the tube to inside of the tube, the entire floor, from like the kick to the kick. I think that's a fair deal. It's going to take me some time. It's not quick and easy. But also, if anybody happened to remember or see the couch that I put up on the internet, if I have a boat that has a good floor and a shot tube, I'll make a couch or two and put those up for sale for cheap too, because it's just me cutting a boat apart that was given to me. So I'm just trying to get them out from under my shed and clean up a bit out here, because owning a junkyard is one of those things. And that's a junkyard. I'm a repair business, but I have junk boats that I part out. But anyways, having a junkyard can be messy, and if you lack motivation when you're just wanting to take a quick break, sometimes shit doesn't get cleaned up for years. So, anybody want a firewood tarp? Anybody want a couch? Let me know. Talk to y'all later. Thanks for watching.